It's a 360 cam.
Oh gosh.
So if you can see the lens, it can see you,
Okay.
but it doesn't do distance worth, I mean, within the range of you and me, it can see, but everything else shrinks down to nothing at a distance because it's a fisheye lens. And if you have two of these, it's a true 360.
Oh my God.
You put them back to back and you push the buttons in the right way and they talk to each other in time. So you can present it on YouTube as a spherical image that you see from the inside of the image and can scroll around. But I don't have the software to actually present it that way on YouTube. So mine comes out as a flattened disc. And sometimes my arm will be way over on one side of the disc and my head will be over. It's really hilarious. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
so who's Eddie? Who's Free Eddie?
His name is Eddie Gallagher, and he's a retired Navy SEAL who was brought up on charges by the Navy's Uniform System of Justice, and which me, and based on my military experience, I've always been a supporter, but in this case his people below him decided they didn't like their squad leader, so they trumped up charges, on him, and then they put him in incarceration without the support of his lawyer. And then when they gave him access to his lawyer, they didn't give him a lot of access, and
so there's a bunch of controversies around these accusations and the individual involved.
That's right.
And the nature of military today.
That's right. That's right. And the individuals who when it finally came to accounting for this information, they couldn't remember the details. They couldn't remember some of them just fishtailed out of it, so what became. Well, and then there were other people that knew him and supported him who wanted to generate some money for his legal defense, because the JAG officers were really poorly equipped to deal with it, and so they got civilian support thanks to some support that's sort of snowballed.
And the Uniform Code of Military Justice is very different than civilian justice.
That's right.
So what we on the outside expect as rights and rules is not the same, because if you have to have civilian justice in a military situation, it just explodes. It doesn't work.
That's right, and oftentimes it's in other settings, other countries, and so you can't assume that the rights that we have here apply there and apply to the. So the military has its own system of justice. So they, after getting some private legal support, he was able to, and some support from other people in the special ops community.
Yeah.
They people who knew about it, trying to help him and allow him to get a fair treatment in court. And so this shirt that I'm wearing is one of the means by which one of his fellow operators
getting the word out.
Yeah, he got a guy that owns a company called Half Face Blades, where he makes knives. Now that he's out of the military, but he started selling the shirts to support Gallagher. So. They're writing a book about it now. He's writing a book about it, and he has started.
So what's Eddie Gallagher's status at the moment?
He's out, and he was going to be dishonorably discharged after the court and his hearing. He was reinstated and given
honorable,
appropriate honorable treatment, and so he's out, and he started a foundation to support the guys that are in the Uniform System of Justice that are not treated.
What are your thoughts on the nature of the the material that we have entering the military in terms of new recruits and their background as to compared to previous generations? Is there a reason that this group that he was leading fell apart? Is it societal? Could it have been traced back to something about training and leadership? What's the mix there?
Yeah, gosh.
What do you think?
It's a complex, probably question.
I'm good at those.
I know it. And you deserve a YouTube channel because it's something that to look at it from all sides is a good.
I think that
approach, but
from my perspective, the material that the military had to draw from, say, just prior to World War II or Korea, could easily be defined as significantly different than what you have going in today. The generation that showed up in Busan in 1951, and we know from the Korean War what happened to the first guys to respond, who were, on soft duty in Japan for quite a while before responding, and they thought they had it in hand, and they got handed to them. But you look at the guys that came out of central United States. They set traps on the way to school and picked up the animals on the way home, and mom had dinner. And they fought because it was fun amongst themselves. And you take that kind of class of people and run them through military training that was really built up during World War II, and a whole bunch of experienced trainers. And you compare that to kids whose communities said you're no longer allowed to spank kids.
Oh, I know.
And gave them all cell phones.
I know where you're going now. I agree.
We have some concerns. And you look at the militarization of China and how Kim Jong-un is a total puppet of China and Russia. And anybody who's bothered to look at the map of where North Korea sits can tell they can't enter or leave their country without permission. They're stuck ahead, they're stuck behind, and frankly, Trump got us out of that mess by handing Kim Jong-un a choice: fire and death, or a good deal. Which one do you want? And Kim Jong-un's like, well, I'll take the good deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But you're talking about the cultural difference, I think, is when going back to the.
If you don't have discipline from childhood, then the military guys have less to work with.
Exactly.
And that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say.
When we still have tough guys across the street, and those tough guys, they'd just as soon do good business as bad. But if we look weak, it's better business for them to just clobber us and take over.
Oh, I agree.
And when you look at the fact that, I don't know how it is now, but back in the 80s, most of the office space in Washington, D.C. was actually owned by Chinese nationals. We really need to take our country back. And that's not to be paranoid. That's not to be whatever. It's really just a matter of we need to clean house. And I don't see Biden as the guy.
I agree.
And at the same time, we may be stuck with Biden for 4 years.
Right.
Trump may win in court. It looks like he's got an old boy from the neighborhood, landlord, lots of lawyers. He knows what he's doing. But he's still up against the wall because culturally we're divided straight down the middle. And no matter how you layer it, that's tough for us. It's actually destabilizing for the whole world.
Yes. And there's less and less middle ground.
And actually, I think that I'm really kind of disappointed with the Space Force so far but I kind of expect it to be because it's a new thing. They're prioritizing guys behind desks and satellites. And I really think that we need to look at something a lot like the International Space Station, right? One of the reasons we did the International Space Station was because Russia had a whole lot of unemployed, dead broke, starving nuclear missile scientists. And we said, look, we'd rather them not go work for Iran. Duh. So let's have an international program, which is to say Russia, the US, and any other little smaller actors that want to come along, like JAXA and the EU and these kids. And Germany and those guys were like, sign me up. And Russia was like, hey, we like that. That works for us. You know, I think we need to continue that tradition. And I think what we need to do is really build a level of government for space. And that needs to come from the US because we're more representative of the world than any other country on earth. Because we've taken citizens of every stripe and we've run them through the process, enrolled them in the military and in the courts and in the civil procedures and in our businesses, and we got the guys down the street running the gas station. We like them. It's all good. And there's no other country on earth that can handle that. But we need it to be like the International Space Station, where we run the program, but we're not here to lock the door. If we let China do it, China's going to do it where China owns the planet and China owns space, and we never get anywhere ever again. And I'm not interested in a closed door. I was born in '69. I've been thinking about space since I was old enough to poop. And I really think we need to rebuild discipline. We need to own our country. We need to build a robust space program. I think Musk and those guys are really key. We need to totally encourage going to the moon and going to Mars, but I don't think we need Mars and the moon to be owned by the corporations. I think we need to cut them off at the pass a little bit, and I think we need to have a representative, scalable government in space.
I agree. That's a very good forward-looking mindset. And gosh,
if you're going down the road at 15 miles an hour in a residential, you're looking at 10, 15 feet in front of your car in case a little kid bounces out. If you're going down the road 70 miles an hour in the freeway, you are thinking about an exit you cannot see. And we're going down the road at 18,000 miles an hour. We have to think ahead.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice. And if we hand it to China, like Mr. Clinton did, and I used to like Clinton because, you know, he's charming and all that, and I was younger and stupid. But no. Trump's rude, crude, socially unacceptable, but he's honest, and he's clean, and he doesn't take big money from anybody.
That's right.
Because he doesn't need it.
That's right.
And
I agree.
That's a big part of what I like about him, and that's a big part about what the left hates about him, is they don't own him.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't need to own him, I need to trust him.
Yeah. Well, I got to get to work.
It was nice to meet you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you for
What's your name?
Mark.
Darren. Glad to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you.
You take care, man.
Good luck on the YouTube thing. That is remarkable.
These things are so fun, and